It's time to put the good in your morning. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Today, the governor of Kansas issues a state of disaster emergency.
That's because here we go again. More snow creeping in from the south, wind chills, dangerously cold. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
And we learned about the Reunited States, a documentary that focuses on the divisions in our country. We've got that and more for you. The KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 starts right now.
Dangerous temperatures and dangerous road conditions as widespread snowfall moves through the area. And to top it off, there's more to come. We bring in our own Michael Hayslip with the latest.
Slowly but surely, Tanya, from the Skywatch Weather Tracker, we're seeing the snow creep in from the south as it makes its way from northeast Oklahoma and southern southwest Missouri on the other side of I-44. Early this morning, it stayed south of the interstate. Now we're beginning to see it creep up to the north. And also on top of that, our counties in white. That indicates a winter storm warning that lasts all the way until 6 o'clock this evening. And on top of the winter storm warning, everybody's going to be included in the pink area, because that stretches from the deep south all the way to the Canadian border as we have dangerously cold temperatures, a wind chill warning that lasts all the way to tomorrow. These are not wind chill numbers that we're looking at right now. These are true temperatures. Lucky to even see a goose egg on the board from the Freeman Health System sky camera right now. It feels like it is 25 below zero. We're shattering record lows, not only from Valentine's Day and today, but go ahead and anticipate it tomorrow as well. We've seen as low as minus 30 earlier. Now we got minus 27 in Iowa, minus 22 in Neosho, minus 18 in Chetopa. There's no escaping the cold, and it's not just us. This thing's stretching all the way down almost to the Texas-Mexico border. Now, the majority of the heavy snowfall that we see for the southeast, it's going to move just on the other side of us. We're still going to get some snow for the course of the day. We're not going to be able to get away from it, but not going to be the 4 to 7 inches, certainly, that we got over the weekend. But the best thing to do is to stay inside. There's no reprieve from the cold. We're talking about a high today of maybe 1, 2. Get lucky if you see 3 degrees. So as the snow moves off for the afternoon hours, then we're going to actually have a little chance to clear out on Tuesday, take a little breath, not going to get away from the cold, still too dangerous to be outside, but then we're right back at it on Wednesday. Gulf moisture reemerges from the southwest for late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, and we're going to throw down even more snowfall. All right, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We'll just count it down till we get there, because until then, stay off the roads, stay inside. If you got to be outside, multiple layers. Exposed skin in these conditions, folks, this is not the 30 minutes that we talked about last week where it can do damage. It can do that in about 10 to 15 minutes with as cold as it is right now. Tanya.
All right, thanks, Michael. And some breaking news this morning out of Joplin. Liberty Utilities reports a large power outage in southeast Joplin affecting nearly 3,000 customers. No word yet on what caused the outage or when power will be restored. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly issued a state of disaster emergency due to the wind chill warnings and stress on utility and natural gas providers. Kansas has experienced extreme low temperatures and below zero wind chill for more than a week. This declaration authorizes the use of state resources and personnel to assist with response and recovery operations in affected counties that meet certain criteria. Snow-covered roads have resulted in multiple wrecks across the 4 states. 5 people from Joplin were injured in a single vehicle crash on I-44 in Rogers County, Oklahoma. Authorities say a car driven by 18-year-old Davon Reed of Joplin was heading west on I-44 on the exit ramp to US 412 when the car left the roadway and struck a tree on the driver's side. The driver and 4 passengers ages 15 to 21 were injured. There was a sizable crash involving multiple vehicles on an Oklahoma City highway today. According to the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, crashes occurred in both the eastbound and westbound lanes. of the Turner Turnpike. Officials believe at least 6 vehicles were involved in the accident in the westbound lanes, including 2 semi-trucks. Injuries requiring hospitalizations were reported. Highway patrol officers responded by diverting traffic in the westbound lanes while they got the scene under control. Oklahoma City's Fox 23 News says the crash is being blamed on the rough weather. Not surprising. Well, with our current extremely cold temperatures, there are now some warming centers open in the area, and one of those is the Byers Avenue United Methodist Church in Joplin. Officials there say they can only host 10 people at a time due to COVID-19 restrictions. They've had a number of items donated to help those that are in need of shelter, including food and blankets. The church will also be providing snacks and a to-go treat bag for people when they leave in the morning.
For me, I just, as a Christian, I think of Jesus talking about how when we help the least of these, we are actually helping him. And so just kind of being his hands and feet and serving our community.
Shelter is open from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and is located at the corner of 17th and Byers in Joplin. Church is also providing masks and hand sanitizer and even showers. We also want to remind folks of some other warming centers available in the area. St. Paul's United Methodist Church on West 26th Street in Joplin is open from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It will open at that time each day, Monday through Friday. Also in Joplin, the Mini Hackney Community Center at 110 South Main is open as a warming center. They're providing hot food and drinks as well as warm sleeping quarters for anyone in need. They'll be open all day during the next 4 days. In the city of Lamar, they're opening the Lamar Memorial Hall at 11th and Broadway from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They ask that you do not bring animals to the warming center. For more information on that shelter, you're asked to call the Lamar Fire Department. In Miami, the New Hope Christian Church at 2221 Rockdale is open now until the need passes. They're providing food, cots, blankets, and clothing to those who come in for shelter. With the extreme cold, Spire is asking its Missouri customers to conserve energy due to a significant increase in natural gas demand across the Midwest. Spire asks customers to turn thermostats down a few degrees, limit your use of natural gas fireplaces. Liberty Utilities in Joplin has issued a peak alert as well. They're asking customers to conserve energy throughout the day, particularly between 6 and 10 a.m. and then from 4 to 7 p.m. Well, a grandfather in Estonia is using sub-zero temperatures to create a little bit of fun for his grandchildren. He built a 40-foot ice carousel on the Baltic Sea. It's formed of a large circle cut into the surrounding ice on a frozen lake and is powered by a small outboard motor. Creator Ance Ale says it wasn't complicated to build but required patience. Ale has to remake part of the carousel every day as below zero temperatures cause part made of water to freeze overnight. That is so cool.
That is really cool.
I think the best part about it is he says it wasn't difficult to build.
Really?
That's why I marvel at engineers and people that are just infinitely smarter than me.
That's
I
unbelievable.
couldn't fathom doing that.
Hey, Michael, I have to point something out. You recommended, I went outside for a moment without a hat on, and then I put a hat on, and because you told me to, and I thank you for telling me that. I didn't realize, that makes, I know it sounds silly, but those make huge differences.
That's right, because I want to emphasize what Jesse's talking about. It's so cold right now. This weather can damage.
Look at how this guy's dressed.
Yeah, no,
He's
that's
a perfect
appropriate.
example of what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
Check out the boots, check out the gloves, check out the hat.
I look nothing like that about an hour ago.
You need to be prepared if you are outside.
Yeah. No,
10 to 15 minutes.
That's all it takes?
Right now. Not the half an hour we talked about last week.
Jeez.
10 to 15 minutes.
Okay. I'm just not going to go out.
That's it.
Yeah.
And a carousel.
So what's it gonna? Is that time gonna get even shorter, or is that gonna expand as we see the day?
No, just stay inside.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Jesse, just do that.
You could go out just long enough to warm up your car, get back in there.
I know. Instead of running out there with hot water and doing a science experiment, I
Don't
just
do that.
made tea because I felt like that was a safer approach. Thank you, Michael.
You guys are killing my weather time.
Hey, look, I've got a beanie on my head.
Oh, look at that.
Killing my weather time.
Go, tell us. We're listening. We're all ears.
I'm waiting for your tea so I can come back and do a full weather here next block.
Ooh, okay. What do we got, Tanya?
Well, health experts say you shouldn't let your guard down when the vaccines continue to roll out.
And two sisters started a sweet business during the pandemic. We look at how the teenagers are spreading kindness through cookies. And of course, Mr. Hayslip has your weather. You're watching the KOA Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back after this.
United States is making progress in the battle against the coronavirus pandemic. Confirmed cases are falling. More people are being vaccinated, but officials warn it's too early to be complacent with the deadly disease. John Lawrence reports.
COVID-19 infections are trending down. Much of the U.S. is seeing cases drop significantly, according to Johns Hopkins University.
Within the next few weeks, we'll see substantial decreases in deaths in nursing homes and people over 65. And that is an impact of the vaccines kicking in because they're quite protective.
However, health officials stress the pandemic still poses a serious threat.
We've had 3 surges. Whether or not we have a 4th surge is up to us, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
The University of Washington's Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation projects another 130,000 deaths in the U.S. by June 1st.
We really need to do the hard work to make sure that there's universal masking, there's strict 6 feet of distancing between, that there's cohorting or potting so that there's a restriction of disease if it were to be transmitted.
In addition to those preventative measures, the U.S. is focused on getting more Americans vaccinated.
Currently, the U.S. is giving an average of 1.5 million vaccinations per day, but they're only sending out about 10 to 12 million per week. That means nearly all that are getting sent out are now being used in often a chaotic and disorganized way.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
During an appearance on Fox News, CDC Director Rochelle Walensky says every American who wants a COVID-19 vaccine should be able to receive one by late summer. Meghan Markle is expecting her second child, and that's according to a spokesperson for the former Duchess of Sussex. She and Prince Harry are formally announcing that their son Archie, who turns 2 in May, is going to be a big brother. Happy news, which they revealed on Valentine's Day, comes after Meghan suffered a miscarriage last July. Harry, age 36, and Meghan, who is 39, stepped down from their roles as senior royals last year. One of the key reasons was reported to be their desire to have a more normal family life.
I don't know if there is such a thing coming off of being a royal, but more power to them. And congratulations as well. Tanya, we are shattering record lows. Not only did we set one yesterday on Valentine's Day, we're going to set one today that we already have, clearly. Set down to 4 below, broke the record from 1986. We're going to set one tomorrow as well. Snow creeping in from the south. Slowly but surely making its way on the other side of I-44. We've got additional snowfall on top of the 4 to 7 inches that we already received over the weekend. And that's led to winter storm warnings for our counties in white, the pink indicating a wind chill warning that stretches from the deep south all the way to the Canadian border. It is too dangerously cold to think about any extended time outside. These are true temperatures. Everybody ranging in the negative. 0 is about as good as we get. And from the Freeman Health System sky camera, check out this wind chill, 25 degrees below 0. And we've seen as low as minus 30. Minus 16 in Commerce, minus 25 in Carthage, minus 21 in Parsons. Reset the Skywatch storm tracker, give you an idea of where the snow is filtering in from, coming in from the south. And like I said, it's on top of that 4 to 7 that we received over the weekend. And nationally speaking, look how far this thing has penetrated, the old polar vortex all the way down to the Mexican border. No let up from the cold, whether it be today, whether it be overnight. We already talked about breaking a record low tomorrow as well. As a matter of fact, if possible, not that we're going to know the difference, it's going to be colder tomorrow than what it is going to be today. Future track pushes all the snow out to the east here as we progress through Tuesday, but we're not done. We're going to have some more Gulf moisture kick in. Similar system to what we had over the weekend, generates from the southwest, moves through early Wednesday morning, and we just pile on because we can't get a melt really until we get to the end of the work week. Then finally, Friday through Sunday. Sounds weird. 44 and rain. At this point in time, we'll take it. Be back with more KOM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Used their pandemic downtime to start a sweet new business. The teens began a baking company with a mission of spreading kindness. And as Chris Martinez tells us, the girls are using their new venture to help other kids in need.
Pull it up. In their family's kitchen in Santa Monica, California, these sisters have baked up a business built on a sweet idea: spreading kindness through cookies.
And we're going to try to do that by making delicious cookies so that the people who get them are happy. Let's do some medium cookies.
13-year-old Malia Yap and her 12-year-old sister Kailani are the founders of Conscious Kids Cookies. They began their baking operation amid the pandemic as a way to help brighten the days of others during a difficult time.
We give our cookies traits, like one kind cookie or one brave cookie.
From managing orders to packaging to delivery, the young entrepreneurs are learning the ropes of running a business.
Being an entrepreneur helped me with communication with other people.
But the sisters wanted to do more than just find the recipe for successful sales. They also wanted to pay it forward. That's why they're donating 10% of all their proceeds to No Kid Hungry, an organization committed to ending childhood hunger.
We realize how fortunate we are that we have enough food, and we would like to help support kids maybe our age who are in a less fortunate situation than we are.
Malia and Kailani say juggling their blossoming business with a full-time online school schedule isn't easy, but it's worth it. And it's proof, they say, that kids can make a difference.
If you do have the time and resources to invest in doing something, then I think you should try to help change the world with it.
Something these two sisters are hoping to do, one delicious batch at a time. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Well, the Yap sisters hope to sell enough cookies to donate $10,000 to No Kid Hungry. To learn more about the Yap sisters business and even order some cookies, just check out their website at consciouskidscookies.com. We'll be right back after this. It's time to honor today's four-state hero, Sergeant First Class Herbert Cobb. Served in the United States Army from 1950 to 1951. He fought in the Korean War and received the Purple Heart, his hometown, Joplin, Missouri. We're proud to salute Herbert Cobb, a four-state hero. Well, this brutal weather is making it dangerous for anyone outside, especially pets who cannot handle the cold. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with someone at the Joplin Humane Society to learn some tips on keeping pets safe.
As temperatures continue to drop and snow continues to fall, going outside isn't the best idea. And it's even worse for your pets. Andy Logan, kennel manager at the Joplin Humane Society, says your pets shouldn't be out unless absolutely necessary.
Keep your animals inside right now. It is for the best.
It's not just the cold weather that could harm your animal. Andy says things like clearing ice from driveways can cause bad news for your furry friends.
Salt and anything that melts ice, any sort of chemicals you're using to melt the ice, keep your driveway clear of ice. Any of that kind of stuff is very harmful for your pets' paws. If they're laying in it, of course, that's bad for them. So definitely if you are taking them outside on a walk and you live in an apartment, somewhere where they're going to be going outside on pavement that's been treated, definitely wipe their paws immediately when you get them inside.
He says these chemicals can really do some damage.
It could cause a lot of chemical burns. It could be very, very detrimental to the pads of their feet. It could get up in between the pads of their feet and cause irritation. And they would have to be seen by a vet if that happens.
Although if you must keep your pets out, they need proper shelter.
They need to have a shelter to where they can get in out of this cold. And if it has a door on it, it needs to be covered some way. Like a sheet or a blanket covering the door to where the wind isn't going to be able to get in.
Andy says he's thankful they haven't needed to handle any serious situations with animals yet. But if you know of an animal being neglected, to reach out. In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
The Joplin Humane Society says most pets aren't made for this cold weather and pet owners should help them as much as possible. Well, another half hour of news and weather just ahead. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, vacations are going on the road during the pandemic. A look at why more people investing in an RV seems to be the thing. And we take a look at the Reunited States, a documentary focused on the divisions in our country. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. Let's take a look at today's top stories. An update to reported power outages in Joplin. Liberty Utilities is now reporting an outage in northwest Joplin affecting 100 customers. In southeast Joplin, 2,600 are still without power. That's down from the 2,900 affected earlier this morning. And that brings us the total number of customers affected to 2,731. No word yet on what caused the outages or when complete power will be restored. With the extreme cold, Spire is asking its Missouri customers to conserve energy due to a significant increase in natural gas demand across the Midwest. Spire asks customers to turn thermostats down a few degrees and limit your use of natural gas fireplaces. Liberty Utilities in Joplin has issued a peak alert as well. They're asking customers to conserve energy throughout the day, particularly between 6 and 10 a.m. and then from 4 to 7 p.m. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly issued a state of disaster emergency due to the wind chill warnings and stress on utility and natural gas providers. Kansas has experienced extreme low temperatures and below zero wind chill for more than a week. This declaration authorizes the use of state resources and personnel to assist with response and recovery operations in affected counties that meet certain criteria. Missouri Southern State University says the campus will be closed tomorrow due to the weather. However, they're pivoting to an online learning and telework model. University says the rec center will be open, the health center will be closed. Snow-covered roads have resulted in multiple wrecks across the 4 states. 5 people from Joplin were injured in a single vehicle crash on I-44 in Rogers County, Oklahoma. Authorities say a car driven by 18-year-old Devon Reed of Joplin was heading west on I-44 on the exit ramp to US 412 when the car left the roadway and struck a tree on the driver's side. The driver and 4 passengers ages 15 to 21 were injured. There was a sizable crash involving multiple vehicles on an Oklahoma City highway yesterday. According to the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, crashes occurred in both the eastbound and westbound lanes of the Turner Turnpike. Officials believe at least 6 vehicles were involved in the accident in the westbound lanes, including 2 semi-trucks. Injuries requiring hospitalizations were reported. Highway Patrol officers responded by diverting traffic in the westbound lanes. While they got the scene under control, Oklahoma City's Fox 23 News says the crash is being blamed on the rough weather. With our current extremely cold temperatures, there are now some warming centers open in the area. One of those is the Byers Avenue United Methodist Church in Joplin. Officials there say they can only host 10 people at a time due to COVID-19 restrictions. They've had a number of items donated to help those people that are in need of shelter, including food and blankets. The church will also be providing snacks and a to-go treat bag for people when they leave in the morning. We also want to remind folks that the warming center is available in the area. St. Paul's United Methodist Church on West 26th Street in Joplin is open from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We'll open at that time each Monday through Friday. Also in Joplin, the Mini Hackney Community Center at 110 South Main, open as a warming center. They're providing hot food and drinks as well as warm sleeping quarters for anyone in need. They'll be open all day during the next 4 days. In the city of Lamar, they're opening the Lamar Memorial Hall at 11th and Broadway from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. They ask that you do not bring animals to the warming center. For more information on that shelter, you're asked to call the Lamar Fire Department. In Miami, the New Hope Christian Church at 2221 Rockdale is open now until the need passes. They're providing food, cots, blankets, and clothing to those who come in for shelters.
Tanya, I want to take this time to just thank the volunteers, the people who donate, and that's why I'm proud to live here in the 4 states. We do such a wonderful job of looking after one another, and heaven knows we need it. We need each other right now because we're shattering records, whether it be from Valentine's Day yesterday. Today, we've already broken the record from 1986. We're going to break another record low for tomorrow. Double barrel action. Not only the dangerous cold for the morning, but now we're seeing the snow spread from the south to the north, and so we're going to be locked in with this for the rest of our Monday. That results in winter storm warnings. That's indicated in the white, lasting all the way until 6 o'clock this evening. Also, too, underneath the white counties, everybody's in the pink because that's a wind chill warning. Stretches from the deep south all the way to the Canadian border. The best thing to do today is stay inside. Dangerously cold. Last week, We talked about how your skin could be damaged with half an hour exposure. Well, when we talk about wind chills that we're seeing right now, we're talking about 10 to 15 minutes is all that it will take for your skin to, whether it be hypothermia, that's a concern, frostbite, that's a concern, 25 below in Webb City, 20 below in Pittsburgh, 28 below in Independence. This is not one of those things that we fool around with. Let's reset the Skywatch storm tracker here as we're going to see our snow increase there in the darker blue. And that's going to be on top of the 4 to 7 inches that we acquired over the weekend. Not a whole lot of 7-inch reports. Had a couple people on Facebook ask me that. But yes, they are out there. I know the majority was about 3.5 to 4 inches. But trust me, they got piled up. And I'm not just talking about drifts. You see a drift out there. I'm not going to be surprised if you don't stick a yardstick in that. You see 13, 14 inches there in a snow drift. You need to be very careful of those, especially while driving, because that'll cover up those ditches. Remember, just because you see it covered doesn't mean it doesn't still go down in the snow. All right, today we're talking about a high around 1, 2, 3 degrees. That's as good as we're going to see. As the snow eventually pushes off to the east later on this afternoon, we're not quite done as of yet. Tuesday we clear off. Still dangerously cold. Then Wednesday, we reload with Gulf moisture, comes in from the southwest. It'll just pile on because we're not going to get any type of a melt until we get to Friday into the weekend. So once again, I'm just going to reiterate, your best bet for the rest of the week, stay inside. If you have to be outside, multiple layers and limit that exposure. Be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this. Appreciate all your pictures. Remember, let's do it from the safety of the kitchen, the living room, the bedroom window. Don't go outside. Linda Brown Wilson, this is near Kansas, near Weir, Kansas this morning. Snow cover. Look at that. The rain gauge almost full of snow. Kim Jones, hubby went to work today. Me? No thanks. Kim, I appreciate what your husband has to do, and I hope he stays safe. Kelsey Shepard with a picture of Baxter Springs covered in snow, and Tina Bryant, -2 at the home in Goodman. Wendy Vest, prayers for those without any power right now, those without a warm place to stay, those working in the cold and those having to get out in the cold. Our prayers and temps warm up soon. Wendy, thank you very much for that, and I appreciate everybody sending in those pictures, and we'll try to keep running those throughout the course of the morning. Now, over to Jesse in Studio K.
Well, this morning we're speaking with people involved with a new documentary called The Reunited States. And this morning we were fortunate enough to be joined by Ben Rickey, the filmmaker, who is part of this incredible documentary. And then we're also joined by David and Aaron Leverton, who are two people who went to 50 different states. And David and Aaron, I want to ask you about your experience here in a second. But Ben, I do want to start with you. If you don't mind sharing sort of what perspectives this film covers in terms of the reunification of the United States, and why you felt this moment in history was the moment that covering an issue like this, this is, I don't even know if you can call it an issue. I mean, it's so all-encompassing. How did you decide right now was the time?
Well, Jesse, I think it's clear to everyone that right now has to be the time. We're really in a turning point in this country where we literally can't move forward because our friends and family or coworkers that we disagree with, it really disturbs us, and it's breaking the social fabric of this country. And we started this about 2.5 years ago, and could never have imagined the world that it would come into now, in the midst of a pandemic and just what's happened in the past 6 weeks. It's been a very tumultuous time. The film started, I met Susan Bro, who lost her daughter in Charlottesville, and was just struck by the fact that she was able to speak about the need to have discussion to move through this and avoid further violence. And I was so moved, I went to her and I said, I think you have this wisdom that could be really helpful to the rest of us right now because of what you've been through. Can I be a part of helping to tell this story? And she did, and so she was the first storyline. David and Aaron, I met while they were on the journey of going across this country, and was just really excited to hear what they had learned and discovered. And so, this film really represents everybody. It's from the left, right, and center, red, blue, and independent. And the main idea is that we all have a role to play in overcoming division. This isn't something that is the other side's fault. This is something that we all have responsibility in, and we need to take that responsibility and take agency over our thoughts, words, and actions.
So David and Aaron, you went to 50 different states to try to understand sort of what underpins these divisions. And was there a moment that you had that might have been sort of a revelation for you guys as you were going, from state to state? You guys are from Texas and you make your way around the country. Did you have a hypothesis going in that you confirmed, or was there sort of this aha moment of, oh wait, no, that's it?
Absolutely. I mean, we had a hypothesis going in because you have to start somewhere. Right. And so our hypothesis, just given our background, my husband's background in politics, is that our political divisions were at the root of our division. But what we quickly found out, basically on day one, and this moment is actually captured in the film really beautifully, is an exchange we had with an African-American woman in Tulsa, our first stop on the trip. And we realized that our divisions are not superficial. They go really deep down into who we are as human beings, and they go really far back into our history, really before our foundations. And that shook us because we were not expecting to find such a complicated mess under the surface.
Well, we really, really appreciate the three of you joining us this morning. We will have all the information about the documentary, The Reunited States, on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Just go to our morning show page. The executive producers, Meghan McCain and Van Jones, both part of this project, along with the three who we just heard from. So we'll have all that on there. We'll be right back after this.
Many Americans may be choosing to piggy bank their next stimulus check instead of spending it. A new survey conducted by Morning Consult says 34% of Americans plan to put the third round of stimulus payouts into savings, while 22% will spend it on housing and 18% will use it to pay off credit card debt. The largest proportion of those saying they would save the check was among wealthier recipients at 41%. Current draft legislation proposed by the Ways and Means Committee has most Americans getting a $1,400 check. President Joe Biden said Tuesday he supports the Democrats' proposal. During the pandemic, many families are choosing to hit the road in a home away from home, and it's giving one industry a major boost. Daniel Miller has the story.
Gets the family out and doing something throughout the whole year.
Mark Ray and his family love to get out in their RV.
You're sleeping in your own means that you're used to, and more of a healthy environment, in my opinion.
This couch right here will fold up and actually come down, so it's another sleeping area. So,
according to service manager here at Rolly White RV in Mesa, Robbie Eggers, many families are choosing to do the same.
It's busier than I've ever seen it. I've been here for 3 years.
Since the start of the pandemic nearly 1 year ago, there's been a consistent uptick in sales.
I would say 60-70%. Yeah, if we look at how far we're backed out, normally on an average like 4 to 5 weeks at most, now it's a couple months to get in. And we have increased our productivity, the employees, we've hired more people to keep up with it.
And with spring break right around the corner, many people, some even brand new to the industry, are choosing to hit the road. If you're looking to buy or rent an RV, Eggers has some advice.
Plan for the delays. Especially with getting trailers ready, with rentals. I mean, everybody is booked out so far, so just be forward thinking. Think about if you have maintenance items or when your next trip is. And then I know for us, having the time to do things the right way is going to make all the world a difference.
We'll be right back with more after this. Racism and social injustice don't make for easy dialogue, but some artists believe the way to bring change to this country is to confront these difficult issues head on. Adriana Diaz has more.
My family discussed it, and I would like to buy some land in...
Sean Patrick Leonard says it was a role in this Chicago play exploring racism and healing that changed his life.
We spent the better part of 4 months talking about racism. There was a lot of listening happening on my end.
The play was part of the theater group Collaboration, which aims to spark dialogue about race through art.
Black women are marching.
But with theaters dark, they moved monthly dialogues to Zoom, like this one about white supremacy.
It's certainly harder, I think, to hate somebody once you can see their story.
Because I feel as human beings, we have more things in common.
Collaboration is led by Anthony Mosley and Marcus Robinson. Mosley started these meetings after his own awakening to help people confront their biases.
I catch myself having knee-jerk, racist, and misogynistic thoughts. But you know what? I'm aware I'm having them. So that is a victory.
What makes it important for us to engage this work now is to do what Lincoln asked of us, finishing the great work of our republic, to live up to its promise.
For Leonard, these conversations help him understand other people's struggles.
I can only imagine what so many others have gone through and continue to go through. And now I can use that to help others.
One conversation at a time toward a more perfect union. Adriana Diaz, CBS News, Chicago.
All right. All in goal for a more perfect union. Michael?
All right, Tanya, we got double barrel action to worry about. We've been talking about the cold temperatures, but as we take a live look from the Freeman Health System sky camera, you can see the snowflakes not only are coming down, but increasing in intensity as well. The snow moving up from the southern portion of the 4 states has now crept all the way to our far northern counties, encompassing us and dropping more on the 4 to 7 inches that we already received over the weekend. And so let's just talk about the color-coded map that we have. Winter storm warning for the counties in white, lasting all the way until 6 o'clock this evening. And even though you see the pink up on southeastern Kansas right there, just consider the pink underneath the white as well, because that's a wind chill warning. And it stretches, I mean, it's expansive. Look at this. We're talking about border to border right there. Dangerously cold outside. If you can avoid it, the best thing to do today and tomorrow is just stay inside. Those are actual temperatures. Those are not wind chills. Those are actual temperatures. 0 is as good as we even get. And let's go back to Freeman here. As like I said, the snowflakes continue to pour down. Minus 25 is our wind chill at Freeman. 25 below 0. This is impressive, and we're breaking records left and right. We broke the record for Valentine's Day for record low. We've already broken the record for the 15th. We're going to break the record tomorrow, and when I say break records, I mean pretty much shatter them, as we're looking at wind chills that 26, minus 26 in Iowa, minus 25 in Carthage and Webb City. Just please be safe out there. If you do have to go outside, remember, no exposed skin, just multiple layers is the best way to go. This polar vortex combined with the Gulf moisture, it is not messing around. And I'm not one for weather hyperbole. I'm really not. And I'm just stressing. I just want everybody to be safe, and we'll all get through this together. Hey, remember, pets, young livestock, drip your faucets, and perhaps most important thing, let's all be good 4-staters and check on our neighbors, especially if they're elderly. Look after one another, because as we get into tonight, we're dropping down to about 11 below. Even though our temperatures get better throughout the course of the week, we don't have a chance to even get a melt until we get from Friday into Saturday. We'll be back, wrap up this edition of the KOM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Some breaking news out of Parsons, Kansas this morning. Officials say a water line is broken. Crews are working to stop the leak and are asking residents to conserve water. We'll have the latest as it becomes available today at noon. Let's take a look at what else is happening today. The chief executives of Robinhood, Reddit, and 2 hedge fund investment firms will testify this week at a virtual hearing before the U.S. House Financial Services Committee. They'll discuss the recent trading turmoil in GameStop and other stocks. The committee is probing how retail trading drove certain stocks to extreme highs while squeezing hedge funds that had bet against them. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky says more than 1,000 cases of the more contagious COVID variant first seen in the UK have now been detected in the United States. She told Face the Nation's Margaret Brennan that by March, that mutation may become the dominant form of the virus in the U.S. A powerful winter storm that blasted the West with frigid temperatures and heavy snow is making its way to the eastern U.S. More than 100 million Americans remained under winter weather advisories. Over the weekend, Seattle recorded its most snow in nearly half a century. Let's check in with Michael for a final look at your forecast.
Hi, Tanya. Here's what we're looking at as the snow has moved in from the south, so an additional inch on top of the 4 to 7 that we got over the weekend. if you have a chance, whether it be in Joplin or whether it be in Parsons, you run into one of those workers for either Liberty Electric or your city water department, do me a favor. Tell them thank you. Tell them thank you for getting out and doing what they have to do to keep us safe today, because it's dangerously cold. They're working in the snow, but at the same point in time, they're doing this to keep us safe. And let's not forget the hard work that they put in on a daily basis. Best thing for the rest of us to do is to stay inside. And I mean that for the rest of the week.
Yeah, be safe, everyone. Well, Brazilians are still celebrating their Carnival despite the coronavirus pandemic. While COVID-19 has shut down the large annual Carnival parade in Rio de Janeiro, partiers pressed on to find ways to celebrate. Supergirl, Freddy Krueger, Poison Ivy, and Captain America were all part of a street band that performed online, bringing happy music. Officials have threatened legal action against partying.
Well, thank you so much for letting us put the warmth in your morning.
We'll be back with more news and weather when we see you at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.